Hello, team. My name is Adam Taylor, and in this week's current international business presentation, I intend to cover topics related to economies and institutional forces. Before delving into the article, supporting content related to the economic systems are necessary to understand. Economic systems can be categorized in four main types: traditional economies, command economies, mixed economies, and market economies. With the traditional economies, they're heavily reliant on people, and there's little division of labor and specialization. It's typically based on a barter or trade system. Secondly, there is command economies. Within command economies, they're categorized as having a dominant centralized authority that kind of controls a significant portion of the economic structure. And typically, governments are identified as this control, and they typically control industries associated with valuable resources such as gold or oil. And then the less important industries are regulated by the people. These may be related to agriculture. There's also free market economies, and they're based on the concept of free markets where the government does little to interfere. Regulations typically come from the people, and the relationship between supply and demand is the premise of it. And lastly, mixed economies. The dual system where most industries are private while the remainder are under the control of the government. Mixed systems integrate the best features of market and command systems, and they're the most common global seen in global markets today. With this slide, I intend to highlight the five emerging economies to include Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. They're better known as BRICS. And it started off with by a concept known or a concept created by Jim O'Neill. And he anticipated that these developing countries to grow faster and play an increasingly important role in the world economy. How does this impact this week's deliverable? Well, India's economy has recently caught up with the smallest G7 economy, Italy, and international markets or international organizations have started to explore capitalizing in on these markets. Specifically, in this week's content, I want to address Elon Musk and how he is looking to capitalize. However, he's faced some government intervention when trying to establish his footprint. Continuing forward, according to the text, India has many trade barriers. It's commonly known. They have many business regulations and much government bureaucracy. Not only does the Indian government impose countless regulations and standards on international businesses, it also states that the 28 states they impose more red tape in congruence with this. And one of the terms that kind of caught my eye in this week's material was the protectionism. And it refers to national economic policies designed to restrict free trade and protect domestic industries from foreign competition. And it's based off my observation. This is apparent in this week's article. Onto the article, and if you'd like to, you can use the hyperlink right under the article summary itself. So the article this week titled How Elon Failed Starlink in India. The Indian government, they barred Elon Musk's Starlink system in the absence of requisite permissions and licenses within India. And the company was not permitted to sell satellite-based broadband internet anywhere in India. An order issued by the Mumbai court restrained the government from issuing any further permits to SpaceX for using Indian space infrastructure without an agreement with the country's Department of Space. And in a statement by the Communications Ministry, The Department of Telecommunication has pointed out that they didn't have a license, therefore they are not able to advertise or sell their equipment in India itself. And in order for Starlink to establish a footprint in India, they would have to comply with the Indian regulations framework for rendering satellite-based communication services in their airspace. Elon Musk, he took this pretty hard because he saw the potential to expand in India. And not only that, he made it a little more personable because he initially focused or made this effort to provide connectivity to schools in remote areas that lack internet access. And it was kind of impeded upon by the Indian government. And furthermore, the Indian government, they also made a statement that they're stressing the importance of this due to national sovereignty concerns regarding foreign satellite launches that could be utilized to spy on sensitive locations within their country. In the end result, Starlink was asked to stop all promotional activities, and the individuals who actually they signed up for reservations for Starlink, their money was returned, and now all faith or hope in expansion in India has actually come to a halt. So I wanted to ask myself, or even you guys, what is the future of Starlink International Business Ventures? Do they stop here, or do they continue to find other countries? And we all know the answer to that. Starlink has over 2,200 active aircrafts in space right now. And to put things into perspective, just doing a little bit of research, there was on July 24th, there was a launch to put 53 Starlink satellites in space. So they're moving at a pretty incredible pace. And with this in consideration, Elon is forced to reassess the challenges faced in foreign markets when trying to expand. And the suitability and demand, it obviously exists for internet services in many countries. However, his strategic team has to develop a way to overcome these investment barriers and acts of protectionism when assessing other countries. And on a positive note, Elon Musk Starlink is set to launch operations in Latin America. It has announced that Chile will be its first Latin American country to leverage Starlink. And this is interesting as it closes a digital divide on the country that's been in the dark ages for quite some time when addressing technological innovation and internet accessibility. So that's going to be a country to keep your eyes on in the near future. All right. Thank you all for viewing, and I look forward to reading your reviews. Here's a list of my references that I utilize, and I'll see you guys in our group meeting this week.